Hi all. Right, I was just about to start off with the next German Impulse. I only recorded that last piece yesterday, so feeling like I've got the just moving the few counters about actually got me going a little bit again. That no promises that it's going to continue to flow, shall we say. Right, but just before I started, I was just checking any comments, and Martin's made a comment. And right enough, I've marked these guys out of supply or unable to trace supply, and marked them low supply. And it's just as well Martin did mention it. He reckons he would have picked it up eventually. Maybe eventually. I don't know. I just feel like I've looked at them being surrounded, and that's it. Well, this is a friendly map edge hex, so they can trace supply off this hex, so they are not in low supply. So that makes things a little more interesting. Well, or does it? I don't know if it's really relevant. I mean, yes, they could have an attack at this guy. Could they all contemplate coming in here? There's a river in between these two, you know, so I think we're probably getting ahead of ourselves there. I think if we can hold off with that bridge getting built and get them into out of supply, I mean, it'd be great to take them right to isolate. That's another, that wouldn't happen till, well, the 25th they would go, so it'll be the 26th. If we managed to keep them like that, then if they were isolated, we could maybe, and maybe have a go at these guys first, so we can maybe get something moved into this hex as well, and maybe in the long term, possibly try and take wage back. I don't know. However, they've got Verviers, so any hexes east of Verviers, of this hex, then these are out of allied supply. These are not friendly map edge hexes. But anything to the west of that is a friendly map edge hex, so Martin's correct in saying that these guys are able to trace supply, so that's good. Anyway, right, let's push on and at least get a German Impulse started anyway. Okay, so let's see what I got in store. Second SS and 80 core. Right, oh well, 80 core is the primary, so it's going to come in the command card slot. And the second SS is going on the support card. It's a reinforced battle. I'm not quite sure about the state of the second SS, if there's damage units or not, because this is obviously not the primary card, so they would assign a replacement point. I can't really see. I think the units are kind of buried. Well, actually, we can just see them at the top of the camera. I think there's a bunch of them. I don't think any of them are damaged. Oh, you know what? We'll get around to it when and if it comes. It might just get used up for reinforced battle, possibly. Okay, so no events on this card, and this is the worry at the moment, is drawing a support card with a bridge engineer. Now, I think that was the one good thing about the Fading Initiative and my air interdiction was I dragged 2 or possibly 3. It might have even been 3. Well, there's one on the top there, obviously. Yeah, we had the 47th. That's a bridge engineer. Yeah, so 2 out of the 7 cards were bridge engineer events, so that's quite good. But there will be some more. So one of the lads up there, we know what's going to happen. There's probably not an awful lot we can do about it. But if they do get that bridge up, then we need to react. And we've got to be wary that could happen right up until the last card's drawn, and that's a board card box, really. Anyway, okay, right, we'll just need to keep that in mind. Right, so we're going to activate 80 core. Okay, so they're going to start moving this time, and right, I'll show you. Okay, so all the 80 core units are are here. There is none in the reserve units box. No roadblocks. Now, their core objective marker is now, there's not now an allied unit within 3 of this. So that comes off now. And now they are bound by the rules regarding the army objective marker, which the 7th army objective marker, it's away in, is it Bertrix? It's away to the west. In its 3rd position, no unit near it, so it's not going to move. That's not going to move. So now they don't follow the core objective movement. They follow just the standard movement methods. What is it? Core objective is 9.23. So they don't go by that. They just go by 9.2 movement methods now. So right. Well, let me have a look and see what's what. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of these are probably going to try and move the movement method 2, which is move to hex both closer to units, army objective, and adjacent to an allied VP hex. And obviously the allied VP hex being Ettelbruck. I mean, it's more than likely we're definitely going to lose. More than likely, definitely. More than likely we're going to lose Ettelbruck, I think, today, and maybe even on this impulse, to be honest. They've got a reinforced battle as a support card as well, so would I care if they used that on that? Maybe not. I know these comments like that feel harsh, just ignoring this unit a bit. Well, I've been here before, I need to look at the bigger picture, unfortunately. Right, so yeah, well, all these hexes, this unit's isolated now as well, so it's not got zone of control, so we can stroll through this hex. Obviously there's a bridge here, but this is the first unit to move, so he could go here, but he could actually go 1, 2, 3. That's going to be he's wanting to tactically adjust. They're both empty hexes, but this one's coming across the river, this one is not coming across the river. And it's also even closer to its army objective. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that feels right. And he'll also leave a detachment in there, won't he? Yes, I believe he will. I think, did we just... No, I don't think we have. I just see that this bridge is still not marked as German controlled. Sometimes they get away from them. I think throughout the game there's been 2 or 3 where I've not been 100% sure that a bridge shouldn't have been taken already. However, the activation there was no allied unit across the other side, so he would have gained control of that bridge. Yeah, it's possibly that wasn't there, because we did have allied units in there, so maybe that's it. Right, however. Okay, next unit to try that move would be selector number 3. They go in ascending order. So indeed he can reach. Now, is there space in that hex? Not that, no, there's not. There's 5 steps in that hex. Not that that's where we'd want to go anyway. He wants to go to this empty hex. Oh, he's mechanised actually. But it's 3 to go into that woods hex. Another 1. Yeah. So that gets him closer to his army objective. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 into there. Well, so that's going to remove that, isn't it? For the moment. Yeah. So that's empty. So then this is unit 5, 6, and then 7. Yeah, the other thing we've got to watch is for any restrictions. Well, we did decide that did the taking of, I'll just zoom out a little bit, did the taking of Mersch secure this hex? It must have done, because I moved the unit away from that town, didn't it? The 268 must be 2608 must be the hex that yeah, 2608, 2606 and 2605 But we decided that once it selects a hex, we consider all hexes east of that not supply traceable for the allies from the edge. Okay, so there shouldn't be any issues down there, and then we've got the river to protect. You know, things can't trace into here from, you know, if there was something in there. So I don't think we need to be concerned. So, right, so where would this guy go? He can go 1, 2. Yeah, he can only go 1, 2 there, can't he? Because this is not a bridged hex. And there's no space in there. So yeah, I think he's going to go 1 and then 2 into there. Again, getting closer to his army objective, adjacent to Allied VP hex. Like, these guys might not be able to... Oh, one of them will. Yeah, because there's 4 steps in there, so... no, there's not even another way of getting up to this hex. No. Yeah, so I think he can go 1, 2, and then 3 into there as well, and then that's now that hex fully stacked. Like I say, we cannot... Oh, wait a minute. There was nothing to stop us going through this hex, was there? Right, back up. Put him back there, and him back there. Right, he would have still definitely went there. Oh my god, I'll zoom back in a little bit. He would have still moved in there initially, because that's an empty hex, but just realised we could actually go 1, 2... We can't stop in that hex, but we can go 3, and like I say, no zone of control there. So we could go up to this hex, or this hex. Both tactically adjusting, they're not empty hexes, and they're both coming across the river, so we can't break it down with that, so we need to break it down with the normal tiebreakers, which is closest to army objective, and then it would be westernmost. Well, they're both the same. But let me see, that one might be 1 hex further away, possibly. Wait till I go and count it. Okay, they're both exactly 14 hexes away, so both these hexes are closer to his army objective, adjacent to that. Tactically, like I say, they're both going across the river, they're both not empty hexes. They're both the same amount, they're both western, so then the last tiebreaker is you go northernmost, so they will actually move into this one. So let me just double check that's right. 1, 2, and like I say, we can just go through that hex, and then 3 into there. So I think that is right. And that is going to enable these other 2 units to get into this hex. So that makes some sense. A detachment would be left there. So yeah, coming back to this guy, 1, 2, yeah, well they can't get up over there, so their only choice is that hex. But they can both reach that, so they'll both move into there. Nice and simple, I think. I hope. Right, I think that's it. I think that's all the movement, with no other units from 80 core. So yeah, I think the guy in Ettlebrook's gonna get a combat anyway, I would think. Well, yeah, he's definitely gonna, because he's isolated, isn't it? So they don't care. Let me just double check. Been away a wee while, so. Okay, so attack determination. This is a lead unit, but we're all involved in just the one check here. Well, like I say, because he's isolated, I don't think we need to check. Reinforced battles, support card, combat tactic, no reinforcements. Where does it tell you to just go for it if it's isolated? It does tell you that, doesn't it? Even with an attack check, it must tell you, surely. Ah, yeah. It says, once a group of units eligible for potential attack has been identified, calculate the situational strength ratio. Exception: if all defending units of the attack are isolated, immediately conduct the attack. Okay. So we're just going straight to the attack. Yeah. we are indeed. So I've moved things about a bit, and I've got my table on the other side where I had my rules, and it's on top of the computer now because I made a little bit more space on the table because this thing's still on the table. No, I'm going to persevere with it. Well, now that's how I'm feeling just now. Maybe when the 24th comes to a close, I might rethink that if depending on how I'm feeling and how it's looking. Right then, so combat sequence. So we're going to draw a combat tactic. Well, yeah, we're as well just doing that now anyway. So let's draw a combat tactic. Well, it would have been nice, but it's going to get shuffled in. However, like I say, the 47th aren't the core that they started the game with. That's for sure. Okay, so that's going to add artillery to the battle. So right, let's work out the numbers then. So this is the only unit. Maybe we should have counted it. No, I can't. It's not. It needs to be 91. He still holds his 4 strength, so that's not happening. So he's the only one that's not coming across the river. So that's 4, and the rest of it's going to be halved. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, halved to 4. So we've got 8 to 4. Oops, right, he's flipped. 8 to 4. So yeah, 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 odds. Chip pools are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 for the 3-step unit 6, 1 for the artillery 7. So 2 to 1 odds, 7 chip pools. However, that reinforced battle I think is going to be played, isn't it? Because they drew artillery. If the combat tactic in German support card differs and would benefit the German attack, apply it as a bonus. Well, pretty sure it's going to benefit. They either need to be from the army or adjacent, which they all are. So it could well be this stack, I think. Well, mind you, this guy's not coming across the river. Right, let me work that one out. Who's going to reinforce? Yeah, okay, but it does break down the priority to the unit that's not attacking across the river, isn't it? If more than one stack can reach the combat, choose the stack that will not be attacking across a river. Then the stack that will cause it. Well, we don't need to go any further than that. This is the stack. Well, in actual fact, these 2 are the stack. Sure, it goes to the lowest number then, doesn't it? Then the stack with the lowest numbered unit, yeah. I was looking there, it said if it had been this stack, not that it could have done it, but it did get me thinking that there's 2 units in the stack and they could have split up. Remember, this is no zone of control. There wasn't a hex that he could have got to, but let's just say there'd been a bridge in there. He could have went 1, 2 into there, and then he's attacking not across the river. So he would tactically adjust to that position. However, none of that's happening. So, but it was just to point that out, maybe. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this guy that's going to join in. He's the one that's not attacked across the river. He's going to lose his IP. So he adds another 4, so that's going to bump up to 3 to 1, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 there, and then another 8 halved. It's 12 to 4. Yeah, so 3 to 1. And then, well, actually, let's get the card as well, Grant. So reinforced battle gets played, as well as the artillery. And then that also adds, we were on 7, so 1 more chip pool for the unit and 1 more chip pool for the reinforced battle. So 9 chips. 3 to 1 odds. I feel, it gets worse as well, doesn't it? Because he's isolated. They get more chips, don't they? and get to ignore everything. So yeah, he's gonna have to be an awful lucky guy to survive this one. May not move or retreat. Well, he's got no place to go as well. So he still needs D3 to kill him, doesn't he? Because 1 for the town, and then step loss. So he needs D3. So they do need to come up with that. But so if defender, the attackers may draw 2 extra combat chits and disregard all attacker hits. Yeah, and I can't draw a card for him. Yeah, so he's up to 11 chits, which may well be overkill, but well, like I say, still needs D3 out of all that. He is an armoured unit in a town, so we shall see. Right, I think that's everything sorted out there, so I'll just go and grab 11 chits and we'll see where we get on. Well, I thought it was maybe going to hang on there up until here. I got this forest woods. It's a broken chit. Got that. This one I thought I was going to score it as well, but the back of that it's a clear, so it was no. And then we got a broken going against us, and then it kind of went downhill from there. Got the disperse on supply. Oops, daisies. Got the disperse on supply, and then a 3-1 to finish. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that means that guy's gone. Yeah. I was forgetting that they ignore all hits anyway, don't they? I was thinking it's a shame if I'd got that, I might have got a couple of hits on them, but they ignore all hits. So yeah, D5 and D3 was enough to take him out. So I'm afraid Ethelbrook has fallen. I wasn't confident it was going to last, but the way the chits started out, to be honest, I was thinking, could he hang on, but yeah, too many chits, I think. Yeah, so down he goes. That's going to be the 2 victory points that we just stole back off from, just given back again, unfortunately. Right, I'll clear the chits up. I'm also going to shuffle that card in, and we'll check for advance after combat. Okay, so advance after combat. Now this guy reinforced the battle, so he cannot advance. So send an order. This is unit number 2, and well, it's into a VP hex, so it's an automatic advance into there. It's maybe a pity because this guy would probably better one of these guys coming in, but however, that's the way it goes. So into Ethelbrook, they take Ethelbrook and gain that 2 victory points back, so back up to 49. Now next unit, I think might be the armoured unit on the bottom here, isn't it? Hey. Oh yeah, they'll take the bridge when they cross it. Right, but is he going into the hex? Well, it is into a VP hex. Well, hang on. Yeah, I'm wondering why it's saying a VP hex, but it has just been a combat in there, so it's clearly been an allied VP hex. It doesn't mention that, but it just says a VP hex. Yeah, so they would advance on a roll of 1 to 6. Oops. Oops. Sorry, the camera dropped there. I'll maybe try and edit it out, but I think I'm past the stage of that. I just let these things go. It's not as if it's done professional, is it? Okay, so he'll advance on a 1 to 6, and they kind of want this to happen because he'll get a second advance and get him moving a wee bit more. Oh, bang on a 6, so well, maybe I'll leave that box there just now because. So yeah, so he advances into there. That then means that they take that bridge. Now, hang on here. He's just crossed. I mean, that was still technically an allied bridge. Don't think that means he has to stop. It might mean the other guys. Hang on, I'm going to have a wee look at that, I think. Yeah, I think this is okay. 12.82 says advancing across rivers. This depends on whether the river has a bridge or not. Well, it did have a bridge, it's just it was an Allied control bridge. But I don't think there's an issue to that. So it says, a bridge hex side, any number of attacking units may advance across bridge river hex sides. A unit advancing across the bridge river hex side may advance 2 hexes if otherwise allowed, which is what we're thinking here. However, no more than 1 unit may advance across a given bridge river hex side into an enemy controlled hex. Well, that's not the case. And it says even if the hex is friendly occupied. Yeah, so that's okay. I think maybe it was just thrown me because it was an Allied bridge, but I don't think that's relevant. So he's going to advance a second hex. There's no path of retreat. That is his forward arrow though, so yeah, he's going to advance into here. Makes sense. Also leaves enough space for one of these units to possibly advance. So we've got unit 5, 6 and 7. Well, again, this guy, he's coming across the river, but he's entering a VP hex, so I'm pretty sure that still must apply, because I know there's a unit already in there, but it just says route of advance, primary or secondary forward route, or across river and closer to army objective. Well, actually, that'll be the case as well. Or into a VP hex. Well, it is. So he's going to advance on a 1 to 6 as well, because there's still a space in there. There's only 1 unit advanced into there since the mechanized unit moved on. And that's a 2, so he is going to go in. That'll shut things up though. I'll keep the big guy on the top. So he advances across that unbridged river hex side, which he's allowed to do. And stop there. Now these 2 units, there's 2 units already advanced, so these 2 guys will just sit with there. Okay. Right, sorry, was maybe just a wee bit off there. Yeah, so he advanced into there, across the bridge river, and then there's 2 guys already advanced into here, so they can advance now. So. Right, that's it. There's no units. All units had an activation. They all done something. So no IPs, no bouncing back to reserves. No German support card left since we used that up. So I suppose it's getting through the cards. But now the worry is now that's them free. That's them all free now. The 80th and 85th are now free to run riot and probably head towards R1. I don't know, I suppose they could head towards Barcelona, which I wouldn't be too disappointed if they headed that way. So it might be that I might want to get the 12 core units out of the reserves. Hopefully maybe be able to deploy them to place, because I've got both the 12 core cards, haven't I? Yeah. Okay, I'll take a cut there. That's coming up for 30 minutes-ish. So I'll cut there. Hopefully I'll be right back on our Allied Impulse shortly, guys. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, next Allied Impulse. Yeah, I've not been thinking about it too much, so I'm, like I say, trying to move things along here. I think I did mention about the threat now coming on R1. There's already a unit adjacent here, but all these units are now freed up. They've no other thing to do up there, so they're going to start heading towards their army objective. It's along that way and may well come down towards R1. So, and R1 being 5 victory points, just that cavalry unit in it. So I'm going to use this card because we've got 2 12 core cards. We've got the primary one still in our hand. I'm going to deploy, there's 2 infantry from the 5th Division, and then this cavalry unit as well. So my thinking was, as the infantry need to be within 3 of their the unit that's already out, the 5th Division, and we need to be 3 away from this town and this. So this road here looks like it's a good choice, I think. It's on a supply road, it's in the core boundary, it's within 3 of a unit in its division, and it's at least 3 away from a German unit or town. And we're putting them down first. Now, obviously this cavalry unit, he just comes on his own, it doesn't need to be, he's not got a division, but he does want to be 3 within the core. So, well, I was going to say it's a pity we can't get him there because that's 2 away from the town. We could get him here, and then that way, the next time we move, okay, these infantry won't be able, but at least that cavalry unit could support R1. And we do got the card, like I say, we've got the card to activate these. I mean, yes, I would like to consider using them on an attack here, but I think what we've got, the force that we've got here could have a go at this in itself anyway. And we've got the 3rd, maybe just off camera there, we've got the 3rd Corps units in there as well. So yeah, and who's to say that might be enough, the cavalry unit along. We'll see what starts happening here, and if we've got that along, then maybe I might consider bringing these up to help with the battles up here. This is a bit of a tougher guy than this, however, but well, I can't deploy them above that line anyway, so that's probably about the best. I suppose I could deploy. The thing is, if I deploy them on there, I then can't deploy this away down here. It's got to be within 3. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Right, I'm going to stick with that. Okay. So basically that's it. That's all the units now. We've still got the 2 5th armour units from 5th Corps. We don't have a 5th Corps card in our hand. We do have the 1st Army card, but I'd be reluctant to deploy them with that, knowing that we've got a 5th Corps card to come. So, right, so that's that card played, so I'll show you what our new card is. What do you know? It's a division card. Ah, it's perfect, because that can deploy the 9th Armoured Division. Sorry, the 5th Armoured Division, and that's what we've got. 2 5th Armoured units. So that could be, yeah, that's pretty good. Not quite sure what I'm doing with them, but obviously they're going to be involving something round about Asia anyway, I think. Right, okay, well, that was a quick impulse. I'm going to have to take a break at the minute, but hopefully I'll just pause the camera and we can come back to the German impulse shortly. Okay, cheers. Actually, I'm not even going to bother with that break. There you go, that shows you how keen I am. Right, German impulse. Ooh, not sure we like to see that. Right, so, and no primary as well, so that's the highest command value, so let's go in the command card box. That's going to support card. Just look at no bridge engineers again, so that's good. Right, this could be interesting then. Yeah, so that's how the cards are setting up. No event on this card. And if that does get moving, I get the feeling this might get used for... Oh, it's going to repair again anyway, isn't it? I think the units might all be full strength. It's just they've been sitting in the back for quite some time now. It might get them moving, but there's a good chance that's going to be used for a combat tactic. It's not impossible though. Okay, so we're wanting to Activate the 6th Panzer Army unit with the most non-bracketed 6th Panzer Army units within 2 hexes, and all those units. And reserves, well, you'll just see, I'll just zoom out a little bit. You see the reserve units box. We've got a couple of 1st SS units and a 4 2nd SS units, I think. So they're going to become active as well, and then of course all attacks get to include artillery as a combat tactic. Okay, it's not, maybe, well, you would think it's going to be up at Liege. I'm just looking there. Yeah, I still think it probably will. Yeah, it's OKW units. I'm just looking outside Ufe if that might be involved. Right, okay, well I'll go away and try and work out where the centre of activation is going to be, and how many units we're going to get, and what they're going to do. Oh, and just before I start looking, I just opened the book there to check, and yeah, it includes OKW units, this. So they just must automatically become part of, well, you include them. Right, hang on, give me a sec here. Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm just getting a bit confused there again. The OKW just messing with my head again. Yeah, so they do count towards the activation. So, you know, let's just pointing at this unit here. We would count all the 6th Army units within 2 of that, but you can see there's OKW units that would get involved there too. So they are counted in, then they would become active, and the thing with that is we've got these 10th SS OKW units that didn't manage to get out the reserve units box, so they are, assuming we do activate an OKW unit, which I'm pretty sure we're going to, then they're also going to become active in the reserve units box. So there's going to be a lot going on here. Okay, but I still need to find the centre of activation, which is going to gather the most non-bracketed units. So I'll go away and find that and then get back to you. Okay, there's what I've come up with. You'll see 2 D12s up with our 12 side up, and 2, that's maybe not the best colour, right enough. 2 dark blue cubes. These are the 2 options that I had. This one I checked first, and it picks up 12 unbracketed units. There's 2 in there, there's 1 there, there's 2 in there, there's 1 there with a bracketed unit underneath, there's 2 in there, there's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here with a bracketed unit underneath, and 1 here. It catches him as well. So that's all the units that we'd catch, and that's 12 units, including the one itself. I just do that. And the other option was here, which I didn't think would be the same, but I kind of forgot about this unit here, so he would be included as well. So that's 1, 2. It also grabs these as well, and it grabs this stack here, which I think's another 3 units. So 3, 4, 5, and then anyway, that works out at 12 as well. So both of them, I don't think we're going to beat that. I can't see anything else that would beat that. So if it is tied, if 2 or more units have the same number of units within 2 hexes, use the unit furthest from the army's objective hex as a centre, which is going to be this one, because this one's only 1, 2. The army is in here, isn't it? Yeah. So the army objective markers in there, that's 1, 2, 3 away. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So it's going to be this one that's going to be the centre activation. So take that away carefully. Right. So there we go. So that's going to activate 1st SS, 2nd SS, and OKW. Just looking at the reserve units box, so it's going to activate all them. It will activate, there's one of the red guys, what are they again? Oh, there's one there, 67 core. I think there's a couple of them in there as well. There's none of them in the reserve units box, but they'll get activated as well. So, yeah, what's going to happen here? Well, we shall see. Right, I'll leave that blue cube. That's the centre activation there. I know it's not the best colour, but so I've got just with all the bridges, and I'm noticing also the green cubes don't work well with all the IPs. Wait, where was that? There, wasn't it? Yeah, because it was grabbing this guy, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that wee red cube's the centre activation. So, okay, so maybe a bit to get through here. It's going to be quite an involved impulse, I would think. I'm not. Well, they're all round about the units to the right. Another city hex. Although some of them that are already across the river might move, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So it's no robots adjacent to any units. I'm trying to find my page. And the army objective marker needs to be reached before it's going to move again. And like I say, it's in this hex here. So some of them might move. Now, this unit's not going to be active, so it's not as if it could. We've got Hugh way under here, but this one's not active. Plus, I've just noticed he's actually surrounding here, so I don't think he would. Mind you, that if it comes into I think it doesn't follow the restriction if he can move right anyway, but he's not got the movement for that anyway. I'm sure we looked at that. Right, so let's not go over that crap. Okay. Right, I'm going to have a look about and see what's going to move. Okay, yeah. First of all, I'm just looking through things, forgetting about some of these units being in low supply. This stack and this stack are two of the active stacks that are in low supply. Now, they will move by movement method 1 if they can. However, they cannot. You can't exit the map if they're in low supply. I did notice that it has a road going off, and that is an exit hex because it's west of the Mews. I was just looking over that bit about exiting units. It says the restriction. A unit may not exit the map from a hex controlled by an enemy unit. So my guess is it doesn't mention that. Yeah, it basically just says it can't exit the map from a hex controlled by an enemy unit. Well, that hex is controlled by enemy units. But it also says a unit may not exit the map if in low supply, out of supply, or isolated. So that's not going to happen anyway. Anyway, yeah, I was forgetting also that they have a special. So if they can't move via movement method 1, so to be honest, movement method 1A and B are out because we've already done B. It's out of the game, which is moving adjacent to the Mews. A is exit the map. Well, if they're in low supply, they can't do that. So it's only about C, which is enter empty ally BP hex, and they can't do that. So we don't look at any other movement methods for these two stacks of units, and then it's 9.25 movement methods for unsupplied units. The German unit will supply, out supply, or isolated moves according to movement method 1 if eligible and within the limitations of supply state. If unable to move via movement method 1, do not check subsequent methods. Instead, after completing all movement for supplied units, move the unit towards the closest hex from which supply may be traced, entering such a hex and stopping if possible. If already in a hex from which supply may be traced, do not move. So, yeah, so we're going to ignore the two stacks until we've done everything with other units. These guys are not going to be able to move, they're surrounded, but this stack here potentially could move into, I suppose one of these 3 hexes and then be able to trace supply, so that might well be what they do. However, we need to get back to movement, the movement methods for the units that aren't in supply, that are in supply first. I think the first one I've found is movement method 7. Which I thought was just going to be a straightforward case, because mechanised infantry is involved now as well. There's no infantry adjacent to this infantry unit. Yeah, I forgot that's the army objective marker, and he can come 1, 2, either into there or into there to be adjacent. However, it goes in descending order, this, and there's a bracketed infantry unit underneath which could get, he could go 1, 2, well yeah, he can go reach either hex as well. I mean, I always find this one a bit strange. It's infantry move adjacent to allied unit or town to which no non-bracketed German infantry unit is adjacent. And then if it's already the only non-bracketed unit, well, we know that one, we just consider its movement's considered complete. There's another infantry unit adjacent to these, so we don't need to concern ourselves with this. But like I say, it goes in descending order, which actually kind of means that this one's a higher. He's going to move first. But he's he's bracketed, sorry. But it doesn't state this, and I think I asked a question about this and got an answer. Well, yeah, you can move it. It doesn't say you can't. So infantry move adjacent to an allied unit or town to which no non-bracketed German infantry unit is adjacent. So this guy can indeed go 1, 2, and either in there or in there. Now, they're both as close to his army objective. Right, this guy's flipped. So it's away up the top of the map, this, and actually when I was looking at things, I'd done it from the other side of the table, but everyone's upside down, and I don't think I could operate the units that way, so I just need to stretch, you just need to bear with me. So yes, you could each reach either here or there, being adjacent to this allied unit. And like I say, both the hexes are as close to his army objective, just adjacent to his army objective, and this one's just slightly west, which is what the army objective requires, west. So, yeah, I get the feeling he would move there. But here's the thing, now the mechanised infantry unit's looking at this move and saying, well, there's no non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to this infantry, and I can get there. So he's now going to make the move, like I say, because it's descending order, that infantry move first. So, however, this time he would go 1, 2. Now again, he can go there and there, and yes, that's westernmost, but he would want to tactically adjust to be in an empty hex. So my gut feeling is that he goes there. Now we're moving away. Oh yeah, hold on, Grant. No, we've got Liège, sorry. I say we, I mean the Germans just now. Yeah, because that's what I thought about at first. I thought, well, there's a restriction from moving away from this hex. Well, no, this isn't a VP hex, it's this one, and the Germans have got it now. So they're not breaking any restrictions there. I mean, the other, well, it's a good thing for me in a way, is they're moving more units out unable to trace supply. And the strange thing is that when we get around to this stack of units, they're actually going to move back, like I say, into one of these hexes to be able to trace supply, because they're a more supply. But I suppose that then means that they'll not go out of supply next turn, they'll come back into supply rather than, so that does make some sense, I suppose. Yeah, so I think that's the first 2 moves. Now, wait, I'll just pause a second. Yeah, I was just checking some of these other units, but there's 2 infantry units in here adjacent to this. There's also a mechanised infantry unit in there adjacent to this, so thing is, I'm not considering them for that movement, am I? However, it does mean that no other infantry unit needs to move adjacent to that, because that's still, yeah, I think that's the case. Right, I think that's movement method 7, so I'll look further on. Okay, on to 10 to 13, I think. So, I guess as he's selected number 2, so he's going to be the first, so I don't think he moves, does he? But I need to check, because I missed one move before, didn't I? Infiltrate, well, he can't infiltrate anyway. So, yeah, movement arrows, no. Can he get closer to his army objective? I think I've looked at this guy before, so I think he can't go round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, he's breaking zone of control as well. They can't come across there. So I don't think he can get closer to his army objective. He can't infiltrate because he's on his own. He's already adjacent to an allied unit, so he's done. Now next would be, well, I've got a selector number 4 there and a selector number. I forgot about this guy. He's a 1. Forgetting about these OKW units now. Also, I'm not involved in reserves yet. No, it only comes into it once I've completed the movement, and then they may be able to be put on detachments, which is unlikely again. I think if any of them are coming into play, it'll be in the possible combat. Yeah, you might find it. Not any of them come in. I mean, I think the only possibility is if we have a combat on this and some of them can get in here, well, admittedly they would be able to trace reserve supply from this hex, so that's if there's still space in that hex, because some of these units might come across to be able to trace supply before we get to that step, I think. Yeah, because that's after the movement phase. Step 4, place eligible active reserve units on German detachment markers. What am I talking about? No. Yeah, I'm talking about attacks, yeah. Well, that would come after all the movement, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm away off on one there. Right, so I shouldn't have looked at this guy first. It's more than likely he's still going to be doing the same thing. Right, what is this guy doing? Can he move via arrows? He can go 1, no, it's 1, 2, it would be 3 into there, and then he would have to stop. So that's not any good. He could go 1, 2 into here, 3 and he'd have to stop, or 1, 2, 3 and he'd have to stop. So, no, he can't move via his arrows. He can get closer to his army objective though. Yeah, it's this guy they're going to be targeting, isn't it? Because that's exactly where the army objective marker is. Okay, what maybe we think? Yeah, so he's going to move adjacent to the army objective marker. And he's moving, well, he's moving to a hex closer to his army objective marker. Now, if more than one hex is closer, he wants to try and move adjacent to a unit that we get a 3-to-1 advantage. So that is the unit, and we do have a 3-to-1 advantage. Remember, it's not what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Situational, yeah. It's not that. So you can either go into this hex or this hex. I think that's the best. Yeah. We can't get any empty hexes, so tactically adjusting, it's between the two. It's going to be this one because it's just as close to his army objective, but this one's slightly more west. So I think that's where that guy goes. So then going back to this guy, number 2, then yeah, he stays put. So we've got a 4 there, I think that might be next. What have we got here? Oh, that's a 5. I'm going to put that guy down the bottom then out. So, oh yeah, we've got 4 here as well. Because he's active as well. So it's this guy and this guy. Right, well, there you go. I remember being a bit confused, not so much confused, but I thought they've all got core numbers. You know, you've got the 47th core, you've got the 58th core, and then you've got the first SS. So if you have to differentiate between numbers, it says you pick the lowest core number. You pick the lowest selector number, and then if they're both the same, then you go for the lowest core. And I always thought, well, 47th, first SS. But I suppose the first SS is a lower number than the 47, so fair enough. What do we do here then? Because we've got the OKW and we've got the first SS. Which is the lower number there? Yeah, I don't think I've read in about that one. And I did think about it at the time when I was thinking about that. I thought, what if that ever came up and it was OKW? So I don't believe that I've seen anything regarding that. I could be wrong. What will we do? Will we pick the OKW? I mean, it might not make a difference, but then I suppose it might. I've just realised we've got UFE, haven't we? And some of the units could come down adjacent to that with movement method 2, couldn't they? Oh no, I did look at that because it's not going to be close to their army objective, is it? However, the 1st Infantry movement method 5 is adjacent to an allied VP hex, and that includes mechanised infantry, so that might have changed things. I might have to redo a little of this. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm going to back up a little. Sorry about this. I've just realised this mechanised infantry was in here and could certainly get down to UFE. So although it's not movement method 2, it's maybe not getting closer to his army objective. Well, you know what? 1, 2, 3. If he was in there, he could maybe be in that hex and just be 1, 2 away. So he could actually maybe move with movement method 2. Right, I'm going to rewind. Hang on. Okay, I put the 2 infantry, well, mech infantry and infantry in the back, and I put that selector number 1 armoured. Oh no, he's mechanised infantry as well. Okay. Well, that could be relevant too. However, yeah, we have missed out on movement method 2, and in fact it's ascending order. So in actual fact, yeah, this unit selector number 1 here can get, it's 1, 2, 3 away from its army objectives just now, but if he enters this hex, he's going to be 2 away and adjacent to an allied VP hex. Yes. So 1, 2, and then 3 into there. Yeah, and that unit that is stacked on top of wasn't active as well. So not that that's relevant, just so I remember it's not. So now he was 3 away, he's now 2 away, and he's adjacent to an allied VP hex. So that's movement method 2, yes, okay. So there's now 5 steps in that hex though. But you know what? 1, 2, 3, because that infantry is 1, 2, 3 away. But if he was able to reach that hex, which he can, 1, 2, 3, he's going in there. 2, he's now 2 away from his army objective and adjacent to allied VP hex with movement method 2 as well. Now that's the stack. Right, hang on, why are you moving him next though, Grant? Hang on. There could be something else. Yeah, hang on. Oh, and I can't do that. I don't have the movement for that because I'm breaking zone of control as well. Oh, I knew this was going to be messy. Right. So, but the unit underneath, because he's breaking zone of control from that, it's 2 to get in there. So he cannot get there. But yeah, none of the rest of that works, unfortunately, because, oh no, he has 1 step. He has, so he will be able to do that. Right, so let's leave him there. Now, he can break zone of control 1, 2, 3, and then 4 into here. Fill in that stack. He was 1, 2, 3 away. He's now 2 away from his army objective and adjacent to Allied VPX. Right, so that's right. That's good. Yeah, I don't think any other units can come adjacent to Ufe and get closer to their army objective, because these guys are all across the other side of the river. This guy's 2 away from his army objective, so he can't get closer and be adjacent to Ufe, obviously. So, okay. Yeah, and there's not, yeah, and I keep thinking about this being a VPX, but it's not. We've got, the Germans have that. Okay, right. Let me pause again, hang on. Right, okay, so nothing else can move with that. There's no surrounding. Right, on to 5 to 9. I just realised I did move him a league away as well, because I ended up with him in there. He would have to break zone of control. 1, 2. Oh, he can't even get in there because that's a forest. So he can't actually make that move. Oh, just as well I came back to this, because I'm making the right mess of it, I think. Yeah, because nothing can move adjacent to an ally VP Hex. He can't get down to here either. And, well, it's only for infantry and mech infantry. These guys are all across the river. That can't happen, right. Can we move adjacent to an allied unit or town then, with infantry or mechanised infantry? Right, no, I don't think there is any other moves with 5 to 9. Now that we've done what we've done here and realised that was a mistake, being able to get that guy to here anyway. So, right, let's go to 10 to 13 again. Dear me. Right, so Unit 1's already made his move. He's in there. 2 is going to stay put. Then the next 2 we've got our 4s. I'm going to just go with the OKW unit first. Since he's not got a number, showing not a core number is lower than any number, is it not? Mind you, can you get lower than a 1? Well, it could be that it's a 0. It's an O. It's an O, right? I don't think it matters. These are going to move to different places, and I don't think it's going to make any odds. So, yeah, I think he just comes across the river. He's got to get closer to his army object. Well, that's the only real move that he can make. Can't do arrows or anything. So he's going to come across that unbridged river. He's now 1 hex closer to his army objective. He can't get adjacent to an allied unit and get closer to his army objective. Because, well, going in there is not closer, so that's that. Right. I think this guy will go up here though, because he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away there. But I worked out there's 8 strength in there, so we need 24 strength. But there's 10 there, 15, 4 there, another 5. That makes it 24. You know, we're not counting the fact that it's a city or anything. So I kind of believe that this guy is going to go 1, 2. He's now going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from his army objective. So he's closer, and he's supplying what could be a 3 to 1 advantage on that hex, the allied units. Right, getting there. Right, I think this infantry unit number 5 is next. I thought we might have seen another possible infiltration move there, but this guy can't move the arrows, but he can move to here. It's going to be breaking zone of control, 2 movement. And he was 1, 2, 3, 4 away from his army objective. Now he's 1, 2, 3 away. So he's 1 hex closer. Yeah. So unit 11 is next. Arrow goes up, so that's not any good. Closer to his army objective, yeah, he most certainly can. He can reach either of these hexes in because he can go, well, 1, 2, 3, 4 into there, or 1, 2 into there, or 1, 2 into here as well. So both hexes are as close. This one's going to be western. So I think he's going to move there. Unit 15's next. He's going to do the same actually. He's going to follow his buddy and break zone of control 1, 2 into there, which is now again 1 hex closer. Oh, wait a minute. Is that enough? 5? Yeah, because this guy's just a 1-stepper. He's also going to leave a detachment. Oh no, it's adjacent to, well, it's the hex adjacent to hex adjacent to the map edge. So you don't leave them there. Okay. So we've got selector number 33 and then 36 to go. Is that right? Yeah. So 33 is the infantry. Yeah, I think he does move away because he's 1, 2, 3 away, and he can get to here or here. So 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and he's going to go into that hex because it's slightly more west. 36 is the last unit. I think he might just cross. Oh no, he can't, can he? Did that unit not come across? I think it did. Yeah, it did. That armoured unit, OKW unit, crossed there. So we can't cross that Unbridged River hex side into that hex anyway, and into both these hex doesn't get me closer. So he's not going to do that. Don't think he can get closer. He can't infiltrate because he would need an active unit that's not moved yet, and both the units underneath have moved. So he does want to move adjacent to an allied unit though. So I think he actually will move into this hex, which is going to be closer than this hex to his army objective. Okay. Think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so that's not a normal movement, but we do have these 2 stacks. Now, there's no point looking at this stack. This stack can't move. It's surrounded, but these 2 guys here, I'll just take that off just now, wait there. Can. Now, it says, after completing all movement for supplied units, move the unit toward the closest hex from which supply may be traced, entering such a hex and stopping if possible. And then, if already in a hex, do not move. Well, it's not in a hex that can trace supply. The nearest hex would either be here or here, and they could then trace supply. How do we do that? It doesn't give you an order. It doesn't give you if it's ascending or descending order. Well, I can't see that. I don't know if it does stay it. We'll go with ascending because that seems like more important. Because you see when we move them individually. A German unit in low supply moves according to movement method 1. If unable to move via moving method 1, move to the hex closest to where we can trace supply. So it's not given a, if you would check these in ascender or descender, there's no order given, but which could be relevant if it was a hex that was kind of fully stacked or whatever. Right, we'll go in ascending order. That seems more important, I think. So, well, in actual fact, he can't go straight into there because that'd be zone of control to zone of control. So, well, actually, he's just going to go into there, isn't he? Because as soon as he moves into there, he can then trace supply, and then he stops. Because it says entering such a hex and stopping if possible. So my guess is that both of them are going to move into there. So what I'm going to do is we'll move both of them into there. They keep their low supply marker. That guy's in there too, but he's not got supply issues. Okay, yeah. And like I say, the other stat, they're surrounded, so they can't move at all. No, okay. Right, moving on. Okay, so we would move on to the step 4 about replacing detachments with active reserve units now. But again, the big one is an allied unit has got to be proximate to the detachment. The other part is it's got to be in that army. So it's got to be, in the 6th Army. So it's got to be something up here. There's nothing. Whether this would be classed the 6th Army, I'm not sure. It's about the closest. This infantry can go 1, 2, 3. It's not quite proximate. No, in actual fact, hang on, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I never noticed that. Let's activate the guys again, take La Roche. Right, so that one's proximate. Is that on the map? On the camera, should I say? Oops. Alright, yeah. Yeah, this one here, but I don't believe that. Detachment is in the army matching that of the closest on-map German unit. Well, what is the closest on-map German unit? It's the 5th Panzer Army unit. So that one doesn't apply. Whereas this one, no, actually it would be 5th, because there's 5th there. 6, he's 4 away. So, I don't think there's any again. There's no allied units proximate to any of the A3 in there, which they're the ones that would maybe be relevant. And yeah, there's a kind of severe whack of detachments that aren't in towns anyway. So I think we move on and then look at attack determination. Got to remember that what's the reserve units that could be involved though. Okay, so first one to check, selector number 1 here, adjacent to Ufe. He's got one other unit with him, so he's got 8 strength, and Ufe has 5 strength. We're checking this situational at the minute. So 5. Where's my page? I'm way away from my page. I like having my other table here, but I set up Spirit Island. I was playing a bit of that, but it's sore on the head as well. So, what are we looking for here? Yeah, the modifier, not the modifiers, yeah, well, kind of modifiers. So what did I say? 8 against 5. And he's in a low supply. He's not adjacent to an allied unit, is he? No. So he's in low supply, so that's a -1. So that is 8 against 4. It was 8, yeah. Yeah, 8 against 4, so that's 2 to 1. However, we do now, can we place reserves though? Let me have a wee look. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get any reserves because these are the only 2 hexes that a unit could come in from reserves and be able to trace reserve supply. It's got to be reserve supply, remember. This hex you would think might get away with it, but there's no road here, and he can't trace into there because that's still in an allied zone of control. And obviously this one's no good as well. And you know, over anything over here they can't trace supply because all these units can't trace supply just now. From where they are, never let alone reserve supply. So I don't think he's going to get any help from any reserves regarding this check. And remember, it's only artillery. We've not got assault coordination, which would have brought all this stuff in. So it is only 8-4 situationally. That still gets the die roll though. And we'll get that up there. Modifiers. Attackers include elite. I think there's elites in the defence anyway, isn't there? Yeah. So that's not going to apply. Activated by an army group card. Well, yes, it is. So there's a -1 there, and support card shows applicable combat tactic. Well, it doesn't because the army card gives artillery, so we would not be using that as a combat tactic. So that's not the case. So it doesn't give that -1. I don't believe. So there's just one -1, and the odds are 2-1. So 6. Takes it down to a 5. Cancel if less than 2-1, or only defender elite. I think that could be the case. Yeah, we don't have elite, and he does. So that is a cancel. Probably wise. I don't think that was a great attack for the Germans there anyway. So, okay, where's the next one? So that's all these guys could have checked, isn't it? Yeah. So the next one will be up here. This could involve some reserves, so yeah. Yeah, this could involve some reserves. So this is selector number 2 there. I think I can take that away now because units have moved anyway, haven't they? That was just where the activation was. Right, okay. This is a different story, isn't it? Oh, look at the 48 minutes. Right, I need to try and get through this, so hang on. I'll try and pause a bit more. Okay, so we've got 10 that's not coming across the river. There's 10 in there, and 1 in there that is coming across the river. So that gets cut to half. So that's 15 with what we've got there. But that is 15 against 8 doubled to 16. So that's 15 against 16. However, we can get some reserves in here. We can get 1 unit in there. We can get 2 units in here. And we can get 3 units in here. And all the units will be able to trace reserve supply. So, well, let me pick, well, how many units? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 units out of all the reserves we've got. Let's see what that totals up to. Okay, so the 6 best units we can get 1 5 strength and 5 4 strength units. All active reserves. So what is that? What did I say? 5 4 strength units. That's 20 then. That's 25. So that's it. Well, hang on. It's all. Ooh, it's not all coming across the river, is it? That one would be the 5. So that would be another 5, and then the 20 would be cut in half. So it would be adding another 15. Is that right? Adding another 15 to what I had, and I had 15. So that would be 30. 30 to 16. Is that right? 30 to 16. But it's still not even 2-1, is it? Yeah, I think that's right. So that's sort of possible 30 to 16. I'm not sure exactly what units would be coming in and where they would be coming in, but we're as well just rolling the dice first because there's a chance it might not actually happen rather than picking all the units out that are going to come in. So 30 to 16 is 1.5 to 1 then, isn't it? It's not quite 2 to 1, so it must be 1.5 to 1. Again, modifiers, we're getting 1 for... Oh, wait a minute. I might get -2. Oh no, he's got an elite. Got elite infantry, good stuff. So they don't get that -1. They only get the -1 from the army card, and again the support card wouldn't be used. So 1.5 to 1 with a -1 modifier. 7. Don't think that's happening then. So that's a 6. Cancel of less than 2 to 1, or defender in a town. Defenders in a city. I think it should say town or city there. Okay, so that's a no as well. Okay, I suppose the next possible check would be these low supply units. And I was wondering about that, but there's nothing to say that they can't attack as long as they're more than one step. So we've got 2 selector number 1s in there. This has already been checked, so they can only check there. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to benefit from combat tactics, would they? Because they're on low supply. That's certainly what would happen to us anyway. So that should work the same way, shouldn't it? Oh, I'm missing something here. Yeah, I mean, it does say for the rules under low supply, you can't play a combat tactic in that unit's support. You could if there was other units involved. It's just, I suppose, what got me a little strange within the combat sequence. It just says apply German draw 1 German card and apply its combat tactic. It doesn't specify if it's in supply or not. But I guess you're maybe meant to read into that one a bit more, right? So this is the only hex that could attack. There's probably too much in here. Oh, that shouldn't be dispersed, should it? I've just forgot to take that off, haven't I? Yeah, that was the unit that was in Liège, wasn't it? And retreated. Is that right? I don't know why that was dispersed. No, it was this unit that was in Liège, wasn't it? Why was that guy dispersed then? Well, it must have just been left on from... He must have got attacked at some point as well. But yeah, there's not been a German attack this day, so I just forgot to take that off. Okay, so, well, it's 5 strength, isn't it? So, however, it is adjacent to an ally supplied unit. So he gets a +1 for that. So it's 10 against 6. So again, only 1.5 to 1. I don't think any of the reserves can come and support though. Yeah, because they can't trace reserve supply from there. So no, so yeah, it's just they 2 guys on their own. So 1.5 to 1 with, ooh, still got modifiers. Right, we're not elite. I think there's an elite in here. Yeah. Bottom unit's elite. So there's a -1 there, a -1 for the army card. So it's a -2, 1.5 to 1 with a -2. Oh dear. Right, that's a 1. Cancel of less than 1.5 to 1. Right, well it is 1.5. What did I say it was? It was 10 to 6. Yeah, that's definitely 1.5, isn't it? It's almost 2. So cancel for less than 1.5 to 1 or defender in a non-VP town. Well, they're not. So, right, this seems a bit odd. What's going on here? They're attacking out of the city of Liège in low supply. Am I missing something here? Yeah, I'm not sure. This feels a bit strange. There's nothing springing to my mind that says this can't happen. But it feels a bit odd. So what I think I'll do actually, this video is going awful long, and I'm probably going to have had to put a cut somewhere. So I kind of thought I might just cut here and upload this part here, and just let you guys have a look. And just, I don't know, let me know if you see anything wrong with what's going on here. If this attack's okay. I mean, in my eyes, it means he's not only going to be able to draw a combat tactic, and he's not going to benefit from the combat tactic on the army card as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's maybe fine. It's maybe okay. Again, like I say, you can't get any reserves in there for where he is, so yeah. Yeah, like I say, things have moved on a bit long here as well. I don't like cutting a video at this stage and whatever, but I'm getting back into the swing of things, so I'd like to think that I'll upload this one. Hopefully if you can give me a quick response, if you think everything's going okay at the minute. Martin, John Brown, anybody else who wants to chime in, let me know, and then we can go ahead finalising this combat and this last part of the card, because I've still got the support card there, and it's probably the fact that it's artillery and we're getting artillery from all attacks, it's more than likely we're going to use that to activate as a second impulse. So. Right, well, let me know if, I mean, there was some funny looking movements up there as well, so I just feel like it's quite an important bit, and maybe wouldn't mind a second opinion. If any of you think that something's not quite right, you can let me know. Okay guys, I'll get this one uploaded hopefully today. I'll just look back on a couple of things and fire it out there, and you let me know what you think. Okay, cheers for now guys. Just one last thing there before I get this uploaded. I thought I'd made a big blunder. Well, whether I have made a blunder in here or not, it could well be. But both units were selector number 1. And we had the selector number 1 there. Fair enough, it done a check down there. But then we went to this unit, selector number 2, and done the check there. So I thought, oh no, that should have been from that selector number 1. But there's 2 selector number 1s in there. So let's just say one of them had done that check, and it wasn't that unit that done the check. And the check failed. So now, well, to be honest, it could be either one of these units that check there. That's right, isn't it? So we still do have that check there, and that's came up with an attack. That's if I'm getting everything else right. Like I say, I'm just a wee bit unsure. The fact these guys are in low supply, but I know we can do it ourselves. We can attack with low supply units. In fact, I was contemplating it last day, wasn't it, with the units down by Bastogne. In fact, maybe I even done it and I wasn't able to draw a combat tactic. So I think it's all good. But again, like I say, I wouldn't mind just leaving it at that and letting some of you have a look at it, just in case things have went horribly wrong before I start drawing combat chits and that. Okay, I'll get this one uploaded as soon as I can, guys, and see if I get any feedback before I carry on. I've not got any more time tonight anyway, so hopefully get it up tonight and or tomorrow morning maybe, and then by the time you've all let me know where I went wrong, I can then fix it before I start again. Okay, cheers.